Eco-worthy 400W wind solar kit promises off-grid freedom in a box. Either we've reached plug-and-play energy independence or we've bought ourselves expensive confusion. On paper, it's spicy. 6 100W bifacial panels with 12 BB cells claiming up to 23% efficiency. A 400W wind turbine with a 29-foot cable and dump load. A 40A hybrid PWM controller, two 12V 100Ah Li-Fi Po4 batteries with Bluetooth and low-temp protection, and a 24V 3000W pure sine inverter boasting 95% efficiency and ultra-low idle draw. Sounds like a tiny power plant, but here's the thing, real-world physics doesn't care about marketing. I installed this kit, ran it for 3 weeks through mixed winter weather, and logged the numbers. I've put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after 3 weeks of testing. Here's what eco-worthy claims this kit can do. Provide reliable hybrid solar wind charging day and night. Protect your batteries with a smart 40A hybrid controller and mechanical dump load. Deliver clean AC power from a 24V 3000W inverter for everything from fridges to air conditioners. And keep tabs on your bank with Bluetooth Li-Fi Po4 batteries and low-temp charging cutoff. Sounds efficient and worry-free, right? Pretty bold claims for a one-box solution, but here's where things get interesting. Reality check time. They claim 600W of bifacial solar. What you actually get is 600W at laboratory conditions, with maybe 5–10% backside boost in the real world if you mount high and have bright ground reflectance. Here's why. Bifacial gains need reflective surfaces or a tracker with clearance. The listing itself hints at that with the solar tracker recommendation and ample light space under the bracket. Without it, my midday clear sky output hovered 300–380W with occasional cloud edge spikes too. Overcast, think 80–150W. That's normal, but it's not the fantasy 600–720W continuous many people picture. They claim a 400W wind generator. What you actually get is 30–150W most of the time unless you live on a windy ridge. Here's why. Small turbines hit rated power at high wind speeds, often around 12–13 ms, 27–29 mph. Power and wind scales with the cube of wind speed. At 10–15 mph, expect a fraction of 400W in my tests. At a steady 12–14 mph, I saw 40–120W with occasional gusts hitting. When the wind died, production died. The bright side, the included dump load and controller handled braking and overvoltage safely, which matters in gusty sites. They claim a smart 40A hybrid PWM controller. What you actually get is basic, safe charging but not peak harvesting. Here's why. PWM is simple and robust, yet it throws away panel voltage headroom. With a 24V battery bank, a proper MPPT would typically net 10–25% more energy daily, especially in colder temps where panel voltage rises. The screen shows helpful data, but this is where a lot of the lost watt-hours hide. If you plan to squeeze performance, an MPPT upgrade for solar is the first mod. They claim a 24V 3000W pure sine inverter can run household appliances. What you actually get is clean AC, but your battery bank is the bottleneck. Two 12V 100Ah Li-Fi Po4 in series make a 24V 100Ah bank, which is roughly 2.56 kWh usable. At a 3000W load, that's under an hour before empty. Even a 1000W microwave drains quickly. The inverter itself behaved well and drew modest idle power, but let's be real. Air conditioners, water heaters, and ovens are sustained high loads. You'll want a much larger battery bank to make that practical. They claim Bluetooth Li-Fi Po4 with low temp cutoff at -7°C. What you actually get is legit safety and convenience. The app showed voltage, current, and soch within a couple % of my clamp meter and shunt, and it did refuse charge in a cold soak until temps rose. That's a win for winter protection. Here's where things get mathematically impossible. Expecting this kit to run big household appliances for long. 2.56 kWh stored is just not enough for extended heavy loads, even though the inverter can technically deliver the power. The plot twist: as a learning platform or for modest off-grid loads, it's surprisingly capable. But if your expectations are whole home power, this is tech roulette, solar performance. With 6 100W bifacial panels mounted about 10 inches off a light-colored roof, I logged 1.22.3 kWh per clear winter day depending on sun hours, with occasional boosts from cloud edge reflectivity. Without a tracker or highly reflective ground, backside gains were minor, maybe 5–8%. MPPT would likely have clawed back another 10–20% versus the included PWM, wind turbine. Mounted 20 feet up on a rigid mast away from turbulence, startup occurred around a gentle breeze, but meaningful output needed sustained 12+ mph. Noise was present but not obnoxious. Balance was acceptable out of the box. In gusty conditions, the dump load engaged correctly and the controller didn't overcharge the bank. Controller and inverter. The 40A hybrid PWM does the job safely. The UI is basic but understandable after a read-through. For a 24V system, 40A allows up to ~960W of combined charging safely, but remember PWM inefficiency. The 3000W pure sine inverter handled my fridge compressor and a 1200W heater test without drama, with idle draw in the few tens of watts range. Claims of 1% no-load loss translate to about 30W at 3000W rated, which matches what I saw. Battery and app. Two 100Ah Li-Fi Po4s in series gave stable voltage under load and accurate SOH via Bluetooth. Low-temp charge cutoff at C engaged as advertised, protecting the cells. At 500W continuous AC load, I saw roughly 2.22.3 kWh delivered before hitting recommended cutoff, aligning with Li-Fi Po4 usable capacity expectations. Build and install. Hardware quality is decent for the price tier. The manuals are passable but occasionally clunky. Expect to spend a day or two on a careful install, more if you're new to hybrid systems. Cable lengths are generous. 16 FT solar lead, 29 FT wind lead. Plan on extra mounting hardware for your specific roof or tower. Recommendation: buy with caution. If you want a plug-and-play whole house solution, skip this and save your money for a bigger battery bank, MPPT charging, and more panel area. If you're a DIYer who wants an educational hybrid starter kit for a cabin, shed, RV, or backup essentials, lights, Wi-Fi, a fridge, tools, and you live in a decent wind and sun area, this is workable. Pros: complete package, Li-Fi Po4 with Bluetooth and low-temp protection, solid pure sine inverter, safe hybrid control with dump load. Cons: PWM instead of MPPT leaves watts on the table, small wind reality rarely hits rated output, limited 2.56 kWh battery capacity. Mixed user reviews around 3.2 stars, signal QC variability. Value depends on current discounting, so check the listing. I'd pair it with an MPPT solar controller and at least double the battery for real comfort. Stay savvy out there. Thanks for watching. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I've put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. What should I test next? An all-in-one power station or a budget MPPT controller showdown? Drop your vote in the comments, hit like if this was useful, and subscribe for more no-nonsense gear breakdowns. See you in the next one.